I'm starving for a promotion. I need a promotion. I need to rise. Now today, I had breakfast at my favorite restaurant, and I sat there with my newspaper and my cappuccino. I also had a nice little croissant with some marmalade. I read my newspaper. I'm in a small town. No one's heard of me yet, but I'm gonna climb to the top. I had a brilliant idea today. Really, really brilliant. I was sitting there drinking my cappuccino and browsing over the newspaper, and the light bulb went off. I saw myself on TV with a panel of thought leaders. And I said to myself, and this was like a vision actually, I would like to become a thought leader. There are a few tried and true methods, well-worn grooves for becoming a thought leader in American culture. I need to pen a bestseller. I need to be on a TED, do at least 3 or 4 TED Talks. LinkedIn, networking all the time, as we know. I need to go to parties in large cities and schmooze. I need to make my ambitions known, my intentions clear. The real question is, how am I going to become a thought leader in this culture? What is the best way to rise to the top and become the creme de la creme of the thinkers that are on the American stage at the moment? What is it that I can do to establish the supremacy of my perspective and surpass all competitors and rise to the top and be a thought leader in the United States? Yeah, I'm in a small town. I'm in a diner. I'm drinking cappuccino, reading through the newspaper, but I have my brilliant epiphany. I'm going to become a thought leader. People are going to listen to me, hang on every word when I'm on a panel on TV discussing the politics of the day. Now, I thought to myself, what is my unique niche? What do I bring to the table that no other thought leader can bring? How do I establish that my perspective is indeed indispensable, yet make it entertaining, give a little hook? There was one friend of mine who used to tell me that if you can find the hook in somebody, you can take them wherever you want them to go. They use the analogy of the ring that's in the ox's nose. Once you get that ring in the ox's nose, you can take that ox anywhere you want. So, as a thought leader, what ring can I put into the ox of the American public so that they will follow me wherever I want them to go? So I think I need to write a string of bestsellers, maybe 5, 6 bestsellers, and I know how to do that. You know, well, one of the ways anyways is that you get on Amazon and you order your own books and you increase the sales that way. You write reviews or have your friends write reviews of the books. There's all these sorts of techniques. You can hire private firms to boost your profile on Google, or your book on Google, so to speak. So, lots of strategies for becoming a thought leader in the United States. But the question is, what do I offer? And not only what do I offer, but who is my target audience specifically? Anyway, obviously, demographically speaking, the United States is a diverse array of identities. So many factions against so many factions. So that led me to the next thought. during my epiphany that, like so many thought leaders, I would find a way to exaggerate a certain cache of perspectives, and at the expense of another domain of perspectives. So if you want to become a thought leader in Christianity, then you're going to find a way to exaggerate the virtues of Christianity at the expense of other faiths, for example. Or this could be done for any specific schism in the body politic of the United States of America. I'm trying to figure out what nobody has done yet. This is my challenge. And this is what I really kind of sunk my teeth into as I was biting that croissant and enjoying that marmalade. I was like, what can I do that's never been done? Like Alexander the Great in the ancient Hellenistic world, conquering these unknown lands and expanding his Macedonian empire across Asia Minor, into India, up into Central Asia, in Africa, into Western Europe. What can I do to get into the minds and the hearts and the souls of every single American and become a thought leader? So like I said before, they're hanging on every single word. Right? That they will consult my column, they'll watch me on TV, they'll buy my books when they're figuring out what they want to eat for the week, and what TV shows they want to watch, and what movies to view, and books to read, obviously my books, who to vote for, right? But how do you establish your hegemony over the American public's mind is what I want to get at. And I still haven't quite figured that out. Right? It's like, how do I excuse the analogy, but how do I become a puppeteer? How do I have the puppet strings on the minds of 335 million Americans so I can kind of get them to do their little puppety things, right? And make millions of dollars, because obviously what's great about being a thought leader is that if you can find that unique point of entry, you can make millions and millions, tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars just generating thoughts that then people consume that tell them how to live, because you're a thought leader. So you're leading their lives, right? You're leading them, and they're paying you millions of dollars. I mean, cumulatively speaking, because there's 335 Americans. So, needless to say, there's an entire echelon of thought leaders, and it's a very, very competitive strata of individuals who are constantly kind of competing against one another, dividing and conquering one another for the target audience of essentially 335 million Americans. And of course, if you captivate the American public's imagination, then you'll go viral. I mean, globally speaking. They'll be loving you in other countries as well. So you can become a thought leader globally. The point behind being a thought leader is not only, of course, to fill your own coffers with bullion, but it's to have influence and effectively to control the way that humanity goes. Because if you think about it, humans want to be controlled. They say they don't. But why do they want thought leaders? If not to be led, if not to be controlled. Now you think, oh, being led is not the same as being controlled, but if you really look at what's happening, if people aren't doing their own thinking, because thought leaders are doing their thinking, thought leaders are providing the thoughts for people, then leading is really controlling, because the people aren't thinking outside of the thought leader. I like to have control over people. I would love to have control over the minds of 335 Americans. I think that would be fucking great. But the question is, how can I get that control so that they will stop thinking for themselves and they will think according to what I want them to think? So, and I don't, frankly speaking, I don't deserve tens of millions of dollars unless I can crack this nut. This is what sets you apart as a thought leader among thought leaders, right? right? Who should listen to me? Why listen to me unless I can excel vis-a-vis other thought leaders? You know, why do we love Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan lorded it over all the other basketball players. I'm sorry, I'm dating myself here. So, you know, I've asked friends after I had my revelation, what do you want in a thought leader? What can I offer you as a thought leader aside from, you know, bestsellers and a column in the newspaper and being on a panel on a TV show and news or whatever? And most people pretty much say the same thing. They just like, well, I'm really busy. I, you know, come home from work. I want to sit down in front of my TV and I kind of want to be entertained, but I want to be informed. And I don't have time to think about all the big issues, so I want someone to think about the big issues for me. But I actually just want people to create the big issues. And I think that's really what it is. I mean, obviously that's me extrapolating, but I think what people really want is they want me as the thought leader just simply to create big issues. So that you can notice that there is a level, a layer, a topmost layer of intellectual resonance in culture at large that simply just generates issues. And then they become experts at the issues that they've generated. And this kind of topmost neocortex of American culture is creating the issues that then they think about. So you, as a thought leader, I create and then think about the issues. Because people want to just crunch on that shit. As long as they're going to crunch on my thoughts as a thought leader and read my bestsellers, I've got to find a way to make it entertaining. I've got to find a way to make it compelling in the sense that they feel like they're really thinking about something important. Because when they come home from work and they put up their feet and they grab a glass of wine and they watch the news and they see me on that panel around the table, they want to be entertained, but they want to think that, okay, I've been slaving away all day at my desk job. It's time to think about something important, to give my own life importance because I'm thinking about something important. And so that thought leader better deliver. And so you see a symbiosis. I think that's what I'm really starting to understand through our dialogue here, is that there's a symbiosis between the viewer and the thought leader. The thought leader is going to provide something ultimate that kind of assuages and soothes and provides a balm for someone who is just, frankly, you know, sitting there and their brains are just farting and they're low on fuel and they're running on fumes. And they need me to do that. So there's the symbiosis, and that's why I get the millions of dollars. And I mean, they do slave away, I'll give you that. They slave away all week. And then they give a large portion of that to me. I mean, collectively speaking, the culture at large. There's a little guilt. I'll be really clear with you. I do have a little guilt. I'm like, okay, all I do is think. And then I create thoughts because I'm a thought leader. I generate issues out of thin air that I then imbue with a sense of importance, significance, ultimate value, and then I talk about that with other thought leaders. We create this very ephemeral neocortex of culture, the topmost level of society at large, with all these brains just creating an ecosystem of cognition. And then other people look at that when they come home from work and they're like, wow, it's like being at a planetarium and seeing the stars. You got to make great constellations of thought, being a thought leader, so people can sit back in the planetarium and look up and say, oh wow, there's Sagittarius. Oh wow, there's Gemini. Oh wow. You know, and then just look at this quasar and look at that supercluster. And so as a thought leader, I really got to create these magnificent constellations of thoughts that will amuse people, make them think that they're thinking, make them feel what? What am I trying to make people feel? Why should people give me millions of dollars unless I can make them feel something? What do I want people to feel with my bestsellers, with all my talk on the talk show? with my columns. What do I want people to feel? Why should millions of people give me millions of dollars? What do I have to offer to the human race as a thought leader that makes them feel what? I know what it is. As a thought leader, I am responsible for making people feel like they haven't wasted their lives. I find a way to dig into reality and uproot those perspectives that have the most, fertile soil attached to them. I give people the richness, the nutrients that makes them feel like their life is worth living. That's why I talk about the things that I talk about. That's why I just make up, I whip up from scratch issues out of midair like a magician. I just come up with stuff. But I do it with authority. And I do it with the other thought leaders. And together, we create this entire menu of meaning, importance, significance. And people can look at that menu and they can order whatever they want. And then they get this great feast. And they feel like their lives have not been wasted. Right? It's like being at a buffet table of cultural issues. The most important issues of the day that I have created as a thought leader. I'm a thought leader. I deserve the millions that you're going to give me because I've made up the most important issues that will make your life feel important for you. Thank you. I can't wait to be your thought leader. Have a wonderful evening.